name is Thomas Myrick, and this is a pitch for Kinship Path, a dungeon crawler style RPG. Kinship Path is meant to be a portable game that is accessible to people who may be unfamiliar to RPGs. It is largely character-driven with simplified, real-time combat. The main hook to Kinship Path is the lack of experience levels. Kinship points are awarded to players after combat to allocate to active party members. The players can redistribute these points through a character's skill tree before combat. However, the aggregate amount of kinship points in a party is what determines a skill's effectiveness. This is to incentivize players to develop underused characters. Starting the game, players will be bounced to a lobby area and greeted by a welcome bot. From here, the player may navigate via menus to a map screen, party roster, or other key areas. This will also be the main area the player saves and gets secondary information. The map screen will be the player's primary means of interaction after the lobby. This consists of an isometric background image populated by objects, NPCs, and path nodes. The player doesn't navigate this area with a 3D avatar, but with an on-screen cursor, which scrolls the image. Simple animations and notifications will be used, but otherwise the screen is static. This is a typical form of navigation for portable-style games. Combat parties are selected from a main roster. As the player progresses the story, they gain new characters for their roster. Each character is fairly static, but will be categorized into obvious archetypes related to their combat ability. Characters will be balanced among one another carefully. This is a critical point of design, as no single party selected from this roster should cover all the combat needs for the player at once. This prevents a dominant strategy emerging and making the game stale. Mission types will vary from rescue missions to simply eliminating the enemy. As the player makes their way through the mission area and approach enemies, they will lock on before attacking. Strafing and four-directional dashing will be common to all characters. The active party is controlled by AI except for the player's active member. This allows the player to switch between characters without having to manage the other ones at the same time. Projectile and melee weapons are the two distinct types of weapons, but characters cannot change their weapons, as it is what gives the character their combat distinction. Combat items like weapons can only be upgraded. Melee weapons will have a faster attack speed than projectiles. Skills may open passive weapon abilities such as parry or fast reload, but the player never uses these abilities explicitly, moment to moment. In a technical sense, Kinship Path is inspired by other portable games like Persona 3 Portable and Phantasy Star Portable. These two titles exemplify the approach to portable-style games. The theme and combat are most similar to Phantasy Star, while the kinship mechanic was inspired by Persona's social link mechanic. The kinship mechanic is wholly original, however, since Persona uses experience levels. While there are some main elements that need to be made before the game is considered playable, they can also be compartmentalized for development. Combat missions need to get the most attention. The enemy assortment and character roster are also areas that need some development time, but there are ways to reduce efforts. Unit tests will use simple block people for characters. A handful of enemies will be made using polymorphic techniques to extend their variability. Thanks for your attention!